Allow the two
it's okay. It's okay. Off the mic. It's okay. Off the mic.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don off mic, and if we talk, na 500,000 they go sama us call am hate speech. But fear not, Mayegun don come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people wey dey spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. This one not dey off in mind, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. And in dey touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be dey holla say dem want the power. Chai, dem be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Dem hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Sure. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say Mayegun don come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. This one not dey off in mind, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Person wey dey do evil no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too dey talk. He too dey talk. Say Mayegun diary, he dey hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Woman pikin dey the street dey hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Mayegun don come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. This man not dey off in mind, oh yo yo. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ dódódódó.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ dódódódó.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Mayegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Bó bá ṣe eré, àní Mayegun máa wí.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré, wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Mayegun diary politico.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ dódódódó.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
lórí Facebook
Máyégún ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn làjú
Máyégún ti dé.
lórí YouTube
Máyégún ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn làjú
Máyégún ti dé.
bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn làjú
Máyégún ti dé.
bíjó ìgbádìyẹ
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn làjú
Máyégún ti dé.
pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn làjú.
Máyégún ti dé.
Hello there, brethren. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And a very good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. It is Máyégún live. And thank you very much for joining us in the Temple of Truth tonight. So, after reading the caption of the broadcast, take your time to read the description of the broadcast. It's quite brief, so it's not going to take much of your time. Then like the broadcast, share it, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them to join us. Máyégún is live. Just like that. And thanks to those of you who have actually done that. And remember, keep sharing as well. So in December 2025, the United States government, or should I say especially the United States Congress, started a public hearing on the killings going on in Nigeria, which is tagged the Christian genocide in Nigeria. The moment the Nigerian authority, the Nigerian government sensed that this could actually really lead to some sanctions against Nigeria, they moved swiftly to counter the supposed narrative, forgetting the fact that for years, the victims of the Fulani terrorism, the Islamic jihadists who have been, targeting the Christian communities in the northern part of Nigeria, right? Their victims have been able to have their voices, their stories heard in the Congress of the United States of America. Even though back home, the government of Nigeria continued to pamper the terrorists, especially at the time. So when they sensed that a possible sanction or possible sanctions are coming their ways, so they went straight into work to try to change the narrative, not to counter the problems, but to counter the narrative. But it was almost too late, because this was after the president of the United States redesignated Nigeria as a country of particular concern, where people are being persecuted because of their faith. So in this regard, Nigeria did not just pop up into that world attention of Christians being killed in Nigeria. They did their starts all over the world. They said the Christians killed in Nigeria in a single year is so massive that it drowned the rest of other countries where Christians are being persecuted. This is what got their attention. So the Nigerian government then went straight into an overdrive, propaganda overdrive, by trying to say, oh yeah, there are other Nigerians being killed. So why is it that America is singling out the Christians? That was their own argument. They said that didn't all go well. In the process, Nigerian government, some selected Islamists in Nigeria, some other extremists took to all platforms to try to warn everyone that if the narrative of Christian genocide in Nigeria should be allowed to pass, that it will lead to religious crisis. It will lead to Muslims fighting Christians. Now, this whole narratives or this whole argument keeps going because they were mostly sponsored by the government of Nigeria too. They didn't stop there. Some of the aides of the president of Nigeria went all over all over the world, different media houses, in their effort to say, no, there were Christians being killed in Nigeria. There were Nigerians being killed. There were Muslims being killed in Nigeria, not just Christians. So the idea of Christians being killed in Nigeria or genocided in Nigeria is the figment of the imagination of those who are peddling it, forgetting the fact that this is This is like a collection of years of the survivors, their testimonies, their stories, and all of that, which has gotten the attention of the world. They didn't care. So things went on enough that, there were some actions taken by the US government, but they said out of the 8 possible actions against Nigeria, right? First, the redesignation, the second, or the target and the airstrike, and possibly the fourth, and more other things that are in the pipeline. If Nigeria government continue to pamper the terrorists or fail to show that they are indeed capable of ending the killings. Again, while this was going on, rather than for Nigerian government to actually really go after the real terrorists, the Fulani terrorists in this sense, and make efforts to returning people, displaced people back to their homes, because that's part of the condition. If you have ended the terrorism, or if you are in charge of your own security to protect the people, to prove this, you need to send these millions of people that have been displaced from their homes, right, by these terrorists. You need to return them back to their homes, and they should be safely returned back and go back to their lives. Until you prove that, so it's still going to be very difficult to say you're actually tackling the problem. But Nigerian government didn't do that. They didn't do that. So Ribadu traveled to Washington with the police IG, the defense chief of defense staff, and a few others like that. They went straight to Washington to go make a deal that seemed like to buy time. First, they promised to cooperate with America indeed, and they wanted the American government to drop the narrative of a Christian genocide in Nigeria. But yeah, they will prove it to them that this is not Christian genocide, the blah. So the rumor had it then that they were able to stock a $2 billion arms deal, where Nigeria received some arms supplies from the US in the effort to combat these terrorists in Nigeria, again, buying time. But unfortunately for Nigeria, or this government, the Fulani terrorists then increased, more or less like tripled their targets on churches. They went to Kwara, kidnapped people, killed people inside the church. During the church service, they killed people and kidnapped others. They went to Kogi, right? They killed and kidnapped people inside church. So this did not really go well with the expected outcome of the Tinubu's propaganda drive at the time, right? So the government of Nigeria then went into a secret deal, but this is how they did it. Office of Ribadump, that is National Security Advisor to Tinubu, went into a deal with a law firm in Kaduna. So this law firm in Kaduna now struck a deal with a DCI group or DCL group, a lobbyist PR group in America. And why did they hire them? Well, this Kaduna law firm was able to cough out $9 million. Again, this is not money towards rehabilitating the victims of terrorism in Nigeria. It is not to return the victims back to their homes. No, it is to try to counter an already established, fact-checked killings in Nigeria, documented series of killings in Nigeria, especially the Christian killings. The Nigerian government is not doing anything to convince the people that these killings will stop and the perpetrators will be brought to book. No, they committed $9 million to try to see how they can change the narrative. If the world is not hearing them that, yes, people are being killed in Nigeria. In fact, they are killing more Muslims than Christians. That if the world is not hearing them in the last 3 months, and the American government is not convinced, maybe if we pay an American lobbyist to help us, right, tell the American Congress, convince them that all the facts, all the evidence they have in their possession, including the trip that one of them took to Nigeria to go and see things for himself, that an American firm could possibly help them, right? Change the standoff at the American government. Because, to be honest, until Donald Trump tweeted about the killings in Nigeria, the criminals in charge of Nigeria didn't see any reason to actually be responsible for the people they are supposed to be protecting. They were giving themselves awards. They were patting themselves on the back, telling themselves that they have done so well. People are just criticizing, despite the fact that daily, the report of killings, the report of attacks, the report of kidnappings continue to rent the air, right? They kept telling themselves that they are doing fine. They are doing well. They are just people, this problem, it didn't meet the problem. It didn't create the problem. It met the problem. Until Donald Trump tweeted. That was when they started running helter skelter. That's when they started showing us that, they will have a military that could actually go after them. The blood. Oh, we need more arms. We need more, you know what I mean? So they started showing, all of that are, again, just for show. Behind the scene, there is no concrete legal process to prosecute the terrorist, prosecute their sponsor in Nigeria. Nothing concrete, just talks. That's why they are able to cough out this much money. And I think they have already started spending it. I don't see Oyinbos talking about the killings in Nigeria, people who have never been to Nigeria themselves, right? Suddenly they want to tell Nigerians, tell the world, that no, there are killings in Nigeria, but this killings is not targeted, it's not Christian. Yeah. And in this day and time of social media, so it's easier to see through. And Nigerians are beginning to say, 9 million naira, don't they start the work, Abi? I've started hearing Americans who are now speaking for Nigeria, on behalf of Nigeria, to say these killings are not happening. We have them in the UK too, and they are going to spend that money very well. But is that going to really be able to bury the truth? Like tackling the problem originally, like going after the real sponsor and the terrorist, wouldn't that just kind of like save them so much money trying to use a PR machine to retell the narrative? Just cash out and walk away, sort of. Here is one of them.
Well, everyone we've spoken to, including people in the US, but the most authoritative sources are obviously going to be coming from civic groups in Nigeria. And the view we've been getting is that there's a major security crisis in Nigeria. And I think the ACLED security trackers have said over 10,000 people were killed in violent attacks last year, which is a kind of low-level conflict level. If you think about the number of people that have been killed in Ukraine or Sudan, you're heading up to those sorts of figures. But that is across the board. That is Muslims, that is Christians, that is people of other faiths, and indeed atheists. Every person, every citizen could be subjected to this violence. And I think that's the point, that it's not a targeted against one particular faith. Everyone is tied up in it. And I think it's had more resonance, shall we say, in the US, where the religious right and the Christian lobby groups are extremely powerful. And that's why it seems to have taken flight as a kind of propaganda meme that's gone out, and it's pushed the government into acting. Well, everyone we
we understand the prayer. You can help us interpret that to that, to that man. They've started. He's never been to Nigeria, no? The $9 million have started working. Okay. Oh, people you see, there are people, there are insecurity issues in Nigeria. There are people being killed in Nigeria. Last year, there are over 10,000 people are killed in Nigeria. So they started using people in place of those who have kept a record of their own victims in the last, in the last 10 years that they have been under this constant violence from the same ethnic group, the Fulani terrorists. And then the Islamist the Islamic terrorist group, the ISWAP, Boko Haram, and the Lakurawas. So those who are their victims, those who have had their children snatched from them, right, by these terrorists are never to be seen again. And you may not probably care, but these are the survivors. These are the families of the victims. They keep record. And yeah, these are things that are not just, they are not low-level crimes, low-level crises. You get what I mean? So now, the American lobbyists have started working. And yeah, the reaction, because it's like the American Congress too, they themselves have started the second phase of their own, sort of like, you can call it a follow-up. Because to them, like that guy said, the Christian groups, or the Christian lobbyist group, as you might want to, or religious groups in America, they are very powerful. And in this instance, right, it actually took the victims more than 5 years to be able to get to this stage. That is the one that Tinubu and his regime want to try to manipulate and turn it into, oh, it is the Biafrans, it is the IPOB that reported them to the US. Yes, IPOB reported the killings in eastern part of Nigeria. The Islamists and the target to Islamize Nigeria and kill the people of Nigeria. Yes, they've always been reporting that that is human rights violation. They have. But what about the people, the victims from Benue, Plateau, Taraba, Yobe, Adamawa, Sokoto, even in Borno states, Borno, Niger? What about those victims? What about those churches and those church clergies, that have been killed, kidnapped, slaughtered, killed by these terrorists? All these things have been documented. You may not be interested because they've told you not to probably demarket Nigeria. You don't want to demarket Nigeria. But you know something? When the supposed National Assembly of Nigeria, the government of Nigeria, decided to side with the terrorists and their sponsors, sympathize with them, while they continue, right, to traumatize their victims. So they finally got their voice heard somewhere else. And Nigerian government want to reduce that to, oh, they are just using propaganda to make us look bad. Who is making you look bad? You or people that have reported your collusion? So here, from some of their conversation on this matter, hearing that Nigerian government actually paid $9 million to try to convince the American government, right, that what they have as evidence of killings in Nigeria, targeting of Christians in Nigeria, they are not true. Just by hiring speakers that will appear on CNN, appear on Nigerian TV, because they also need them to validate this. They say, look at this Oyibo now. Oyibo, they talk so. This Oyibo is saying that there is nothing like that. It is because American politics, the blah, the blah. They are all going to be all over the place. And remember, one of the problems that Tinubu is currently believed to be troubling him right now, to actually be troubling him, is that to push this their Muslim ticket again, is becoming almost like a death sentence politically. So there are rumors that he would probably be dropping a shitty man in the effort to try to convince all this effort to convince America, what are they doing to convince Nigerians that Nigerians will be safe? We're going to get to that. So here, from the first part of their conversation, and a survivor who is also a guest in this hearing, sharing his own story, the Yelwata survivor, right? Now let's start with this.
When President Trump reinstated that CPC designation. And here's why. Because we know that there has to be some external pressure to help change and shape behavior. And as we were moving through this and we were having our briefings and we were understanding what was going on, and I believe, if he hasn't spoken already, I believe Riley Moore will be here as well, and some of the work that he had done. We were in on some joint hearings, and I knew that I wanted to get a trip over to Nigeria. We had a very compressed calendar. with what was going on, but I had a dedicated and great group of folks, bipartisan group, that went over December 19. We were there till December 22. Yes, do the math. It was more time on airplanes than it was on the ground, but it was very, very effective. When we landed on Saturday, we almost immediately went into a dinner with the head of the NSA, Mr. Rabadu, and Minister Musa, and a number of others. The foreign minister was not there. He was with the president. He was with President Tinubu in Lagos at the time. But it was a large, productive, long dinner, and I thought that was helpful. At the end of that dinner, I was talking to Minister Musa, former General Musa, and he was asking, well, what does tomorrow look like? And I indicated to him that we would be actually going to a church service, a Christian Reformed church service, and the head of the Christian Reformed Church, Nigeria, Reverend Magaji, has become a good friend, and he and I had never met in person, but we had met a number of times over Zoom. And we were going to the church, and Minister Musa said, where is it, and what's the name of it, and I may join you. Well, sure enough, he came. And I felt like that was a bit of a turning point. I hope it was a turning point. He ended up doing a number of interviews after the church service as well, where he reinforced this notion of this not just being hooligans and people that were out. He was calling them out with ill intent. He was calling them terrorists, and I think that's the appropriate language to be using. And no doubt, Nigeria is extremely complicated. There's a number of factors. I keep getting asked by the media, yeah, but this isn't just about religion. And as I actually said to a reporter yesterday, I said, could you tell me what conflict in the world is only about religion? Right? It's about power. It is about money. It's about a number of things that always are happening there. But I think some of my colleagues are denying the flip side of the coin when they say, well, this is just about herdsmen and property owners and conflict. Well, they are missing the other side of that coin, which is the religious motivation behind oftentimes those actions. And we have to acknowledge that. They haven't seemed to have been able to acknowledge that. I hope that they're able to come along and understand that and be able to acknowledge that. But you know, we saw the strike happen on Christmas Day. I kind of wondered to myself if they would have maybe delayed it a little bit because we were in country. I'm glad we didn't find out. But we still saw, however, attacks afterwards, and we know that this has not been fixed. Now, I'm not anticipating that this is a just flip a switch kind of moment, but we have to see a commitment, not just words, out of the Tinubu government. We have to see actions. As part of our meetings that we had there, we met with the governor of Plateau State as well, and heard his perspective about some legislative actions that were going on, about the debate about whether states should have their own police force as well versus just relying on a national police force that oftentimes isn't as responsive as it needs to be. The debate about whether others besides the Fulani who should be able to have weapons for self-defense. There's a number of debates.
So his own team, they met with Ribadu, Musa, and his own impression was that as that meeting was supposed to be like productive, that in that meeting, Musa actually referred to these people, these killers, as terrorists. Okay, so they are not herdsmen and all of that. So the other part of the political divide in America, who seems to be opposing the action of the U.S. against these terrorists in Nigeria, or even against the Nigerian government, are not seeing it kind of like clearly that, yeah, there may be the resource part, the resources part, the mineral resources part. There is also a part which is the motivation, religion. So it may be all multifaceted. Muslims are being killed, Christians are being killed. Who are those killing them? Of course, they should be identified. We know them, we have identified them. So what should then happen is that everyone should collaborate together and get rid of them. So according to him, you see, the American government, yes, I mean, sort of like a bombed these terrorists in Sokoto. That's just like a flipper switch, like he said, because there have been several attacks after that, like more attacks, which means nothing has really changed. If everyone is being kind of like truthful, people are still being killed, kidnapped in all of these areas that are under review already. So it's not what you say, it is actually what you do, right? We tell if you are really dealing with this or not. So they have the impression that the Nigerian government doesn't have the intention of ending the killings. That's what their conclusion. There are more, or there is more. Watch the rest of his own charts.
For self-defense. There's a number of debates that are happening within Nigeria, and I'll let the Nigerians sort through that. But I believe one of my job and one of our jobs writ large here is to check in, make sure that they know that we are watching, we are paying attention, we are taking this serious, and we need to see serious actions on their part as well. Part of that was Chairman Smith's resolution that I'm proud to co-lead that really confirmed the President's CPC designation. It calls out the Fulani Herdsmen Association and some other organizations like that who I believe meet the criteria for being sanctioned, for having some tougher scrutiny put to them. But we know that there's a long ways to go on Nigeria. Just pleased to be a part of hopefully what is going to be a solution. I'm just pleased to see the U.S. government and the President and Congress rising up and saying this isn't acceptable. And I've said this before in some interviews. We cannot allow another Rwanda to potentially happen. And what happens when we wake up one day and that is the case? We would have nobody to blame but ourselves. So this is, I believe, the proper actions. And I think I also was asked yesterday by this reporter, well, what was the message that you wanted sent when you were there? First and foremost, it was, hey, we are watching. And I can tell you, showing up that close to Christmas, there was a number of people that ended up coming back to Abuja because they understood that we were serious when we were showing up and asking for meetings on December 20 and December 21, the week of Christmas. That sent a message in and of itself. But two, we wanted to let them know that, look, the CPC designation is not a permanent mark. This is something you can earn your way off of. This is a list you can get off of, as long as you are doing the proper actions to get off of that list. And I think the other message was an understanding of how important Nigeria is, not just to the success of West Africa, but to the success of all of Africa, and by extension, the entire world. With the largest economy on the continent, largest population, the potential that is there, and one of my direct messages was, you talk about the United States and sort of how we all came together. That was one of the discussion points. One of those things that allowed us to be successful is stability. And right now, Nigeria is not stable. And it is the government's job to make sure that that stability comes along. And we can be there to help. I think I retweeted this yesterday. There was a military transport that had landed with some equipment and some things to help. We want to make sure it's more than just military equipment. That is not going to do it. You have to have the will to change what is happening. And it was a reasonably productive conversation, but as I've said before, actions speak louder than words. And we are going to be watching very closely the actions of the Tinubu government and others to make sure that they are following through on what they say is their goals and objectives. So that's a little bit of the update from our trip. It's hard to believe it was less than a month ago. It seemed like it was January's been a long year, right? There's been a lot that's happened already this year in 13, 14 days. But again, I just want to say thank you for what your work is and what you are doing. This is important to make sure that you are lending a voice to those that oftentimes don't have a voice, and that's a godly goal. So, congratulations on that. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So just for easy digestion, those of you who watched all of that, what he practically said was that giving Nigeria weapons, okay, is not enough. The American must actually make sure they push for the will to use the weapon against the terrorist. There is also the conversation around, should the people of Middle Belt be harmed in an arrangement that could actually come with all of this too? Yeah. And I know that the idea in a country like Nigeria, where they have intentionally disarmed the citizens, or currently allowed the terrorists to roam about with AK-47 guns and other kind of like war weapons. So the idea of America shipping all the American guns to arm the people of Middle Belt of Nigeria to defend themselves, or just pressure the government of Nigeria to use the weapons they have given to them, like, for real, go after these terrorists that people won't need to arm themselves. So all this conversation is ongoing, So these are part of things that could actually really happen in this 2026, as some of the shockers that they will say, oh, like play, oh. The people of Middle Belt in Nigeria, they have become so kind of like fortified. They are the only people allowed. They can twist the government of Nigeria enough that, your National Assembly will actually enact a law that says, yeah, they could, for under this certain arrangement. Just so you know. Or somebody who happened to be a former special advisor to the governor of Benue State on infrastructure, something. His name is Frank Uto. Right? He was also present in that hearing. I wanted to hear his own presentation. And this is a survivor from the hands of this armed Fulani terrorist. And people like himself, hundreds and thousands more, have had all of their stories shared, documented physically and in the other written forms. So all of these are what Nigeria needs to actually debunk. And I don't think $9 million is going to be enough to do that. Meanwhile, they don't even have to spend $9 million. If they decided to actually go after the terrorist and their sponsor, that would save them a lot of money. But no, they are doing everything to change the narrative. They are doing everything to probably like gloss over it, distract people, and again, continue to look for the validation from abroad. Do you know what I saw today? I'm going to show you that clip now anyway, but do you see what I saw today? While American government yesterday announced that they have restricted visa issuance to all of these countries, including Nigeria. Just last week, America said they are now going to put a bond on visa applicants from Nigeria, $15,000 or something, visa bond, right? Then yesterday they said, oh, no, they've added Nigeria to the restricted countries where they're not going to give anybody visas, right? Right. Then today, European Union, Abi, who be these ones? European Union removes Nigeria, South Africa, and 4 others from high-risk countries. So they are shopping for validation all over the world. They are spending money here and there to see if they could actually get, because they understand what damages this means for Nigeria. They've messed up. And now that they've been so exposed, right? Rather than for them to go on and do the right thing, they are shopping for validation all over the world to say, no, what you think you're hearing is not like that. Donald Trump is just somebody who is so, is a bully. That is what is going on. Blah, blah, blah. They want that to be the narrative. And they're spending so much money. But to those of you who are probably following all of that, I need you to remember that this is not a made-up story. There are victims, documented victims, interviewed victims, survivors who survived this whole thing. And here is one of them, Frank. I don't know if I pronounced that right.
Appreciate your role and
Hang on, I'm so sorry. I wanted to say happy birthday to Iruk. So Iruk, happy birthday to you, sir, right? I'm coming back, though. Let's watch this.
appreciate your role and your voice as well. As you see, people are coming and going, Congressmen coming and going. We have invited and expected Senator Cruz to be here, along with Representative Riley Moore and Chris Smith. We've been informed that they probably are not going to make it. They haven't made it already, so they apologize. But they have great staff. You can reach out to them. If you need context, we'll help you with that. They listen and they relate everything you're sharing to them, and they want to hear what's going on. Especially now, as Commissioner Person has mentioned, we're weighting the recommendations to the Nigerian government based on the CPC designation. So there's still time. We believe this week, maybe early next week, they're going to make critical decisions on what's happening next in Nigeria. So appreciate that. Next, we're going to have a human rights lawyer, voice, advocate, nonprofit leader from Yagba, Benue State, Frank Uto. He's a direct survivor of the Yagba attacks against Christians, late son of the village head. He combines his lived experience with expertise in law, governance, civil society, served on the board with the governor of Benue State. He has a recent master's degree from Central Oklahoma, as well as attending Northumbria University in the UK. His Catholic faith compels him to advocate globally for human rights and action to stop atrocities.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, equipping the persecuted. Truth Nigeria. Thank you, distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Frank Uto. I'm a lawyer, I'm a policy advocate, peace advocate, I'm a politician in Nigeria. I served as the Principal Special Assistant PSA to the Governor of Benue State between 2020 and 2023. So I've been involved in the government. I come from the epicenter of the genocide of Christians in Nigeria because I'm one of the biggest victims. My tribe is called the Thief ethnic group from Benue State. We are the biggest ethnic group of the Christian faith in the middle belt of Nigeria and in the entire northern part of Nigeria. We are the fourth biggest monolithic ethnic group in Nigeria, the Thief race of Benue State. And this is our traditional color, the zebra color, and it is called Ange. It is spelled exactly the way you spelled anger. That is the mood of our people right now, anger. And when you put D before the anger, it becomes danger. That is exactly what we're facing. We're facing existential threat in the hands of Fulani ethnic militia who have committed themselves to wipe our people off the face of the earth. They started this journey in 1804 when they staged the jihad of Okunran, and in their quest to progress southward of Nigeria, our people, the Thief ethnic group, stopped their progression. So they want to continue from where Okunran stopped, because their mission is to dip the Quran in the Atlantic Ocean. And of course, you know, at the time they conquer Nigeria, the United States stands at risk because they'll be in charge of the coastal region of Nigeria, the oil of Nigeria, and across the Atlantic stands the United States. So the ethnic group that stands before these guys and the United States is the Thief ethnic group principally, and the ethnic groups, the Christian ethnic groups in the middle belt of Nigeria, in the states of Benue, the states of Plateau, the states of Nasarawa, Southern Kaduna, Taraba, and the Christian minorities in Zamfara, in Katsina, in Sokoto, in Niger State. So today you'll be hearing directly from a witness, from a survivor, and of course it hurts me very deeply. It is heart-wrenching when this story, when I hear Americans begin to give two different sides to our story. Our story has just one side. Genocide. Genocide. Our story has just one side. And let me give you, I'm going to speak, I'll be speaking for the next 3 minutes, and let me give you a graphic example. On September 11, 2001, the 911 attack, 4 planes were hijacked. United Airlines and American Airlines and rammed into the towers. The people who hijacked, the 19 guys who hijacked this aircraft were Arab Muslims of the Al-Qaeda group. But when they rammed these planes into these buildings, amongst the victims were also Arabs in those buildings, in the Twin Towers. Were also Arabs. But does it mean that it was a clash between American and Arabs? No, it was a direct attack on Americans. Some Arabs may be collateral damage. That was
their story. So Iruk, thank you very much for that. We should probably be the ones giving you gifts on your birthday, right? So many happy returns, Baba. Enjoy the day. It's almost weekend though, right? So he didn't lie. Historically, it was the TVs, the Barons, especially the TVs. They were the ones that killed Uthman Dan Fodio. I need to keep reminding you, history is very, very important because those who failed to learn from history, they are bound or they are caused to repeat the history. You may be wondering, what the hell, man? Why, in Nigeria, they want us to believe that we have the North and the South. You see this Northern Nigeria, which they have politically carved the middle belt, they carved the middle belt into it, and they said they are also part of Northern Nigeria, which means they are supposed to be one, politically protected, their interest and everything, right? Why are the Fulanis killing the middle beltons? Why are they targeting the TVs, the Barons, all these people from this middle belt part of Nigeria? Why? They were supposed to be Northerners. They are supposed to be brothers. You get what I mean? Where everybody actually exists for free, where their interest is so protected, the way they are pretending to do. But no. Why are they killing them? It is an unfinished war, and it is religious. Uthman Dan Fodio was the first terrorist to set foot on the soil of the country called Nigeria today. He was the first official terrorist in history. Unfortunately, it's the forefathers to the current Sultan of Sokoto. History, oh. So why are the supposed Fulanis, other Muslims in northern part of Nigeria, not angered by these monolithic sponsored attacks against the other ethnic groups or tribes in northern part of Nigeria? Just one group, Fulani, doing all of this. How come the rest of other Fulanis, why are they not upset? The Muslims, why are they not angry? Because it is an unfinished war. Now the people who killed Fodio be that. TV people, they shot him a poisoned arrow. True story. Because he was trying, just like these terrorists are doing now, he was trying to overrun today's middle belt. He was trying to overrun them with the promise. This was like in 1807 or 1800. Did you feel me? Since that time, somebody where they sell, what do you call it, is selling all these voodoos, rings and all that. Then he started teaching the people how to read Quran. So they started calling him teacher. So in the process, he started turning the children against their parents, In the process, like he's teaching them Quran, he's teaching them how to read and all of that stuff. And suddenly, these students became his primary soldiers. They were the ones who became his primary army, indeed, who turned against their own supposed people because they felt like they were idol worshippers and their ways is against the God's way. So that was how he conquered the Hausa land. He used the Hausas with the support of his imported Fulanis to conquer Hausa land. He tried it with the Academy of Borno. It didn't succeed. So he turned to the Middle Belt, faced TVs. He didn't succeed. They killed him. That was the end of the jihad. He returned back to Sokoto, formed his caliphate there, stayed back there. No, he didn't, like, it's formed it, then he died there, rather. He died there. So you saw these descendants of Uthman Dan Fodio, whether they are educated, whether they are in the bush, whatever they once they identify as Fulanis, there is that unfinished war. The Nigerian government, who was supposed to actually nip it in the bud, like end it, they have decided to tolerate it. And we all know why. So for years, these Fulani groups and those ones they brought from the Sahel and the Tuareg, all these guys that they brought into Nigeria, they were allowed to group, they are allowed to form base, they are allowed to arm themselves so much that Nigeria is no longer dealing with Boko Haram. And that is why an unfinished war that the government of Nigeria, if they are sincere, know the sponsor, they know those behind it. They could get rid of them if they wanted to. No, but no. Let's go. Frank, finish his statement.
That was what happened on 911. And so today, if you hear that Muslims are also being killed in Nigeria, they're just collateral damage. And some are killed because of their sect. The epicenter of the genocide in Nigeria is in the Middle Belt, where the Fulanis have been ravaging, destroying our lands and occupying our lands. My village of Yerota was attacked on the night of June 13, where 278 of my relatives were killed. Among these are my nephews, my nieces, my siblings, my uncles, my aunties. When Ralimo went to Nigeria and met the woman whose husband was killed and 5 of her children, that's my cousin. That's my cousin. So these are not just numbers. These are not just disposables or expendables. These are family relatives. For every number you had in Nigeria, these are my cousins. These are my siblings. As I talk to you right now, my father's youngest son, my youngest sibling, is just 3 years old. He's in the IDP camp. And this morning, he was fed with just a pack of noodles. They were given a pack of noodles, 4 of them, to share a single pack of noodles, 4 people. A single pack of noodles. My direct sibling, youngest sibling, is 3 years old. My father's 2 wives are in the IDP camp because my father was polygamous. I have 13 siblings. They are all in the IDP camp. My father was acting in local parentage to the children of his dead siblings. So he was a father to about 42 other kids. They are all in the IDP camp. My father was a village head of Yerota, the village which was the epicenter of the June attack, the worst attack in the history of the world in 2025, where 278 people were killed in a single night. It never happened anywhere in the world. It happened in my village, my community, my own relatives. So I am the final authority in exactly what is happening, not the Nigerian government. We do not believe they will tell any other side than the side they've been saying. Because many of them are the enablers of what is happening. And now today, instead of the Nigerian government to focus on solving this issue, they are spending millions of dollars of unbudgeted funds, taxpayers' money, for optics to the lobbyists. That is exactly what is happening. That money could have solved the issue. The $9 million could have solved the issue of what's on ground. And returned as they continue to launder their image, our people are still in the IDP camp with no plan for them to go back home to their ancestral lands. Their ancestral lands are right now in the hands of the Fulanis. Finally, as I conclude, this same morning of today in Nigeria, 2 of my kinsmen from a neighboring community called Daudu, 2 of them, Teketi Ashwa, 46 years old, and Aledi, 44 years old, were arraigned in the Federal High Court Abuja today for So today they were arraigned for terrorism at the Federal High Court Abuja. What is their offense? Because in self-defense, they killed 12 cattle of the Fulani that were ravaging their farmlands.
I have my own mic.
And so they were arraigned for terrorism today under the Terrorism Act 2022 of Nigeria at the Federal High Court in Abuja. And who is the prosecutor? A certain Fulani man called MB Abubakar. Who is the only witness in this whole case? A certain Fulani man called Fahad. That is exactly what is happening to us. Our kinsmen today were arraigned in Abuja for killing 12 cattle, and they were arraigned for terrorism. But the Fulanis who have come, who have killed hundreds of my kinsmen in June, who are killing every day thousands of our relatives, no one has been arrested and no one has been arraigned. I finally conclude by saying you are the conscience of the free world. The might of America is not in the armed forces. It's not just in the military or its wealth, but it's in its moral authority. Can you use your moral authority to defend us, please? Thank you, and may God bless you all.
True story. It is so ridiculous that they have places where they have soldiers, military formations who formed roadblocks all over the place. Whenever there will be any attack, suddenly the military roadblocks in the area will suddenly just disappear. Now, the terrorists can begin attacking a community from, for example, from 9 p.m. and they can continue the operation that could last up till 5 a.m. the following morning. Yeah, there will be no single security response, not a single one. Now, when people have been killed or others have been kidnapped, and the survivors who ran into the bushes and all of that, all of them are out, suddenly the military will show up. I'm talking about like in kind of like a combat mode. This time around, it is to stop any form of reprisal. Any form that people would actually gather together, arm themselves, and go after the terrorists, they will stop it. If in the process of trying to stop all of you from forming and going back to fight these terrorists or what have you, yeah? If they should find any weapon or what have you, you will be charged for terrorism, for possession of firearms, this and that, and you could die in jail. Then you won't even appear in court. A food seller, somebody who had a restaurant in Enugu, where everybody comes in, customers comes in and buy food and go, right? Nigeria DSS, they arrested her husband since 2021. She never appeared in court, probably more than once. They accused her of feeding the IPOB members. And they charged her with terrorism or something like that. Separated her from her husband. She developed serious health issues in their prison. Are you with me? The woman died in that prison, I think towards the end of last year. She never committed any crime. She was never put before any judge. Because the effort is to ensure that they spread that fear. The only untouchables are these terrorists. And whenever they want to give us a spectacle, especially their collateral damages as well, they could use them. Then they will go ahead and say, oh, they just killed 5 of them. They just killed 15 terrorists. They just neutralized 7, this and that. While they are, before the news, even the news, the ink, they printed the news, all right, before it even dries on the paper, the terrorists elsewhere have kidnapped others, killed more in that process. Let me show you a community. There is a community in Kogi State, all right? This one is a recent one, just this morning, okay? So, there's a community in Yagba West, local government area of Kogi State. It is called, one circle, I want to pick up Okunran. I don't know if I pronounce that right, okay? So Okunran community in Kogi State have become a ghost town. Just 2 days ago, we saw where the Nigerian military and the Nigerian police said they carried out airstrike and ground operation against the terrorists somewhere in Obajana in the same Kogi state. But take a look at this community. This is what it looks like when the terrorists kind of come to town and turn communities to ghost town. This one in Kogi state. So it is easier to probably dismiss the reports of the atrocities of these terrorists and how much the supposed political class in Nigeria have done so much damages. You're gonna like how much they have done to tolerate this, because that's what happened. They have tolerated them. Everyone with his own ideas on how to tackle this, why more money keeps being pumped into the hands of the terrorists. Like what they did in Katsina State, where Katsina State government released 75 terrorists plus 300 million naira. so that the terrorists would then release 1,000 captives, Nigerians in their custody, like in their captivity. So they made that arrangement in Katsina State. Those terrorists were released. The efforts put into arresting them, included by the military or the police who arrested them. So all that effort comes to naught, like nothing. Because the moment the politician says, oh yeah, their own way of dealing with this is that, yeah, for those who have died, have died. So for peace to reign, we need to let these terrorists go, plus money. And then the military, again, as compromised as they have become, they will begin to get ready again to go after these terrorists and the multiplier effect. So they will begin to go after them. So when they capture these terrorists, not even thinking about these military who have become victims in the hands of these terrorists themselves, slaughtered, killed like animal, including a senior military officer who was killed, and the whole country just felt like it's okay. Yeah, okay. Is it bad? People were asking, okay, is that bad? Is it very bad? Why is the life of one man so important than the rest? Like, as if to say they care about the rest as well. They don't. See that community ghost town you saw there? There are thousands like that spread across northern part of Nigeria. Baba. The terrorists don't go into cities. They go into the fringes. Do you know what I mean? They go into all these border communities that you can sense and see abject poverty, underdevelopment, so like palpable sort of like poverty. No road infrastructure, no other dependable infrastructure that you can say, oh, if in terms of emergency, this will aid the response time. No. So they target all these smaller communities, some of them big enough to be like towns, but they know they are somehow they've been cut off from the rest of so those of you who came from all these smaller towns, villages and all that, right? When you start hearing the news that you can't go back there anymore, because you know what? There's no one there. The issue of this terrorism and stuff, people say these things in a passive way, many ways, right? I mean, this Boko Haram thing affected my community, and a lot of people have left the community because it's not safe anymore. Thousands like that. Did you know that even though they pretend that it's all right, like over 70% of schools in northern Nigeria have been shut down, and there is no, there is no national emergency about it. The terrorists have shut down, or they have forced the hands of government to shut down more than 70% schools. I'm talking about tens of thousands of schools have been shut down for years. For years. It is not just the economic state of the northern part of Nigeria, and of course, as a whole, Nigeria, these guys have destroyed. They have destroyed lives of the supposed future generation Nigerians. So while you're busy, especially from the southern Nigeria, in a way that you probably haven't become victims of any of this yet. So if you are thinking that you are building your own future, your children and the rest of them, you do have no idea the future, or the other children that are going to exist in that future that you are building for your own children, as long as Nigeria remains. These guys are destroying lives, and their criminal politicians are more interested in power. Yeah. So that's why it is believed that the supposed person who is the president of your country right now that could have used the chance to say, you know what, this rubbish has to end. I do not have any form of affiliation with all this nonsense, okay? A country cannot be run like this. So we need to end this. He's not doing that. He is a tired old guy, a relic. Do you get me? So they are more interested in what they can get or take for themselves. And I think the Americans sees it that way too. Let's go back to that Congress hearing, because there's more.
The first step in denying a genocide is to question whether it's a genocide. And the first way to do that is to question and minimize the statistics. You will hear often, and this is what the Nigeria's foreign minister says, that there are no more Christians and Muslims that have been killed by terrorists. It's a lie. The truth is that over 60,000 Christians have been murdered by Boko Haram and Fulani jihadists since 2009. And the highest estimate of moderate Muslims killed in that time is 10,000. Now, there have been many other Muslims, especially killed by Boko Haram, before that. Moderate Muslims are also the enemy of Boko Haram. But Fulani jihadists have really concentrated on Christians. And they target Christian villages and schools, but they leave Muslim villages and schools untouched. The second way to deny genocide is to attack the motivations of the truth tellers. You dismiss the charges as products of election year politics in America or of anti-Islamic Christians for Africa. Listen, I've lived in Africa for at least 10 years. That is a racist argument, because what I know is Africans are among the best Christians in the world if you know Africans. And they're also among the best Muslims in the world if you know Muslims. And I have lived in both Muslim and Christian countries. Fifth, you rationalize the deaths as a result of Nigerian history. You say the conflict between the Fulanis and other ethnic groups in Nigeria dates back over 2 centuries to the Sokoto Caliphate of Osman Dan Fodio in the early 19th century. So the Fulani Jihad is really just a continuation that you must expect. It was the Fulani who forcibly converted the Hausa and other northern Nigerians to Islam. And it was only really stopped by the British colonialism and Christian missionaries. Well, Boko Haram and Fulani basically are saying that this was colonialism, and they are simply carrying out a decolonization process. Excuse me. Get my shaky hands to work. I'll be 80 this summer.
Amen.
Sorry. So that argument says these are age-old tribal conflicts between cattle herders and farmers, and so there's really not much you can do about them. The sixth way to deny genocide is to blame out-of-control forces for committing the killings. You claim that the killings are by bandits or undefined terrorists. Claim that their motivation is to profit from ransoms paid by families of kidnapped victims. Deny that there is any religious aspect to the genocide of Christians. This shifting of blame denies responsibility for the complicity of the Nigerian government. The success of the tactic is demonstrated in the absence of any UN Security Council resolutions or Human Rights Council resolutions condemning this genocide. The Nigerian government blames the killings on bandits and terrorists. Doesn't ever define religion or any of the other characteristics that show this is in fact a genocide. And UN and academic spokespeople blame these killings on bandits and terrorists and even demand that the Nigerian government disarm the terrorists and bring their leaders to justice when in fact the Fulani jihadists obtain their weapons from corrupt Nigerian generals. Not one major Fulani or Boko Haram leader has been arrested or tried. Seventh, you avoid antagonizing the Nigerian government because after all, we have to get along with the Nigerian government. And this is a real politic argument, and it's very typical of diplomats, by the way. I was a diplomat, so I know. You don't want to make an enemy of governments that you're really dependent on working with. So don't upset this new president, President Tinubu, and we want to get along with him. Meanwhile, the displacement of Christians from central and northern Nigeria proceeds. Genocidal massacres, kidnapping from schools, and rapes continue weekly. And this argument, which diplomats love, ignores the fact that genocidists are serial killers. Policies toward
Genociders are serial killers. The Nigerian government and their supporters wanted us to believe that this is the clashes between herders and farmers. But historically, You heard him. He's an American congressman. He just said it there like the steps to denying the genocide by bringing about this false historic stuff. Oh, it's always been like that for years. There have always been clashes. That is not genocide. Well, Oyebosev know that about Uthman Danfodio 2 centuries ago, the man that led the first terrorism against the people who showed him love. See, history mad gone. I need to kind of remind you, okay? History is crazy. You didn't write it. So therefore, you cannot tweak it to suit your own agenda. The truth is the truth. Usman Danfodio is not from any part of where you call northern Nigeria today. Nobody knows where he comes from. His history said when he first got to the Hausa land, he was welcomed as a trader. And what was he selling? He was selling rings, voodoo. And he is also an Islamic teacher. So he started staying back to teach people how to read Quran. He was welcomed. He was actually loved from the history. The Hausa rulers then invited him into their homes. They asked him to teach their children how to recite the Quran. He didn't bring Islam to northern part of Nigeria. No. Islam has been in what you can call today's part of Nigeria way before Uthman Danfodio was even born. Uthman Danfodio's idea of Islam is that those who are practicing Islam in that Hausa land back then, they were also practicing what you call the traditional religion. Therefore, they were not true Muslims. Uthman Danfodio incited the children of the elite, the children of the poor who passed through his own tutelage to stage a jihad. The jihad was an act of terrorism to cleanse the land from the people that invited him to their homes. True story. Go and Google it. See, local. Except by the way, you are a Fulani that feels, you don't need to feel bad. You didn't do it. Now your forefathers. You just need to drop the mentality that Nigeria, which is today Nigeria, okay, is the estate of your forefathers. It is not. Your forefathers managed to conquer Hausa land by killing them, right? Killing their leaders, making himself the caliph of a caliphate. Appointed his own son to be the first sultan of Sokoto. He tried to conquer them in Borno Kanemi. He was defeated. He tried to conquer the place you call the north central of Nigeria today. He was killed. He didn't win any land anywhere. He used treasury to deceive the people who hosted him, loved him. And that is the history of the Sokoto Caliphate of today. True story. Then you can say the British, the colonialists, also helped them to actually last this long. So you get me now? So the only thing is that this generation of the terrorists, the imported ones, the local ones, the elite who are sponsoring this madness, believes that maybe they could still push on. They enter the southern Kaduna, slaughtered thousands of Christians there. Indeed, they entered the Benue, slaughtered thousands of Christians there. They entered Plateau, same thing. And they are at the national level. Their criminal leaders are pushing legislation on how to give them the waterways of Nigeria. They were trying to make laws that would then give the federal government of Nigeria the legal control of all the water. They are already in control of the waterways, but that's not enough. So they wanted 10 miles. That's about 14, 15 kilometers of land from every bank of water or river or ocean in southern part of Nigeria. So all the lands 10 miles from the bank of the water will become owned by the federal government of Nigeria. And the plan, to resettle these murderers next to waters, the waterways of Nigeria. That didn't really succeed, before the Bukwari died. So the American knows that this idea of denying it, downplaying it, telling you that other people are also being killed and all of that stuff, right? They are the signs that Nigerian government have no real plan to crush these criminals. So this is the second phase of them asking the American government, Donald Trump's government, to go to the next stage, just for your information. But let him finish.
Policies toward them based on fear lead only to appeasement and further genocide. The eighth way to deny a genocide is to deny it in favor of current economic interests. We depend on Nigeria for oil, and Europe depends even more on Nigeria for oil. So the oil companies certainly oppose an arms embargo on Nigerian government, and Nigeria is a source of oil for both American and European countries. So here we are, a major supplier of arms to the Nigerian government. The UK also is a supplier of arms, and it is also one of the key owners of parts of the Nigerian oil fields. Then the ninth version, by the way, these 12 tactics of genocide you can see on our website because they apply to every genocide I've ever seen. Sudan and Darfur and so forth. It's been used by other countries as well. The ninth tactic is to claim that the victims are really receiving good treatment, that they also are, being cared for in Nigerian IDP camps and so forth. Well, unfortunately, that is not true because, unfortunately, these IDP camps are very unsafe. The 10th way, and I'm a lawyer, so this is the one that really hits me, is to deny that it fits, that this, what's going on, fits the definition of genocide. This is what I call definitionalism. It's very common among lawyers and policymakers and journalists. They want to avoid any implication that this genocide is happening because, after all, is it really a genocide? Amnesty International won't call it that, and nor will the UN Secretary General or the European Union. So here are some of the problems with it. First of all, there's a common misconception that a finding of genocide would legally require action to suppress it. Unfortunately, the Genocide Convention doesn't demand that. It was what kept us from realizing it was a genocide for 3 months during the beginning of the Rwandan genocide. I was in the State Department then, and denial was just rampant. They refused to call it a genocide for over 3 months. That's well known now. That's part of it. They thought they'd have to act if they called it that. But it doesn't have, there's no legal compulsion to act. Secondly, in the denial, you have this misconception that genocide always means all or none. In other words, that only genocides of the whole, where you're trying to kill everybody in a group, qualify as genocides. But that is not true. The Genocide Convention itself says the genocide is the intentional destruction in whole or in part of a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group as such. In other words, in part is enough for it to be a genocide, and that's what's happening in Nigeria. And in fact, one of the types of genocide is what we call genocide by attrition, where, in other words, the genocide isn't instantaneous. It happens over time. And in fact, that's what's happening in Nigeria. Helen Fine, a really great theorist about genocide, says it is the most common type of genocide. We also have a problem with this word, genocide, because it has, ever since Milosevic, been replaced many places by the term ethnic cleansing, which was, it was a euphemism that Milosevic invented to cover up genocide in Bosnia. And this whole term common enough that you see it used more in news articles now than the word genocide. In fact, there is no law against ethnic cleansing. There is no treaty against it. There is a treaty against genocide. And in fact, what we found, and we've done an empirical study of this, is whenever the term genocide is the dominant term used to describe a situation, there will not be forceful action to stop it. But as soon as the term genocide becomes the dominant term, and you can read an article that we wrote about this, as soon as genocide becomes the dominant term, then it makes forceful action to stop it possible. And that is in fact what happened finally when we recognized that, for instance, in Kosovo, when David Sheffer called it genocide, near the beginning of it, suddenly we were bombing Belgrade, and Serbia surrendered. That is the type of action that is needed here. We don't need bombing, by the way, in this case. I would strongly argue against it, because you can't defeat a terrorist genocide using bombing. You have to have people on the ground, and they have to defeat it on the ground. And that is why really stopping this is up to Nigerians. It is not up to us, it's up to Nigerians, and we have to support them.
So do you get it again? They are already pushing that it is either they actually mount proper pressure on Nigeria to do the job, because it is their job. Put boots on ground, go after them, sweep them, receive American support. But bombing them, like sending nukes and all of that, is never going to actually really fix anything. That's their position. So right now, the effort of Nigerian government spending money to try to change the narrative is probably going to even make it worse. Did you hear the part where it described the seriousness of the word genocide, right? That in several cases, they've had to use ethnic cleansing, a more sort of like moderate word that at that point, it was just be like, okay, maybe some ethnic groups are fighting themselves and just killing themselves. That's not genocide. And others who describe genocide as if to say something that just like happened, that they just come around and just sweep a particular group of people because of their faith and kill them at once in massive, you get what I mean? So that would be genocide. But genocide in this instance is something that actually happened over time. You know, it keeps happening and happening, and when you pile up all the numbers, it becomes so scary. 60,000 killed Christians, documented killed in Nigeria between 2019 and 2025. 6 years gap, 60,000. You get me now? So the government of Nigeria will do more than just paying some PR outlets to go say, no, it's not happening. But here, I think, this was the Nigerian army, because today is the Remembrance Day of Nigeria military, the Army Remembrance Day in Nigeria. Kolu is in Abu Dhabi. He's not there, but Hitiman represented him, in this video.
The pigeons had been released, and as they fly away, it is hoped that our beloved country will indeed continue to experience long-lasting peace and prosperity.
Right, long-lasting peace. Meanwhile, somewhere in Sokoto, the Nigerian soldiers.
Well, get up! Get up! Come from! They don't know! Fire them! Let's go! Pursue them! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Hey! Hey!
I'll just give it to them. So the only saddest thing about this effort is that when they now succeed in capturing some of these terrorists, right, they ended up being freed or released by the politicians who are giving different speeches on different TV, in Nigeria, trying to tell people about how much they are working to keep them safe while they are negotiating with terrorists to be let off. Yeah. So there's also a good report though. Okay, remember these ECWA worshippers, the ECWA Church worshippers that were kidnapped, before Christmas. Well, they finally released them, and this is what they all look like after their release. Children who have been taken by the terrorists for like a month in the forest, So women. So the terrorists were demanding for 600 million naira. I don't know if they were paid ransom to release these victims, right? But they have been freed from the picture you just sent there, okay? Isaac.
Nigerian government, APC-led government, are now paying $9 million to lobby U.S. government that Nigeria is safe, that there is no genocide. $9 million is about 13 to 14 billion naira. 13 to 14 billion naira to lobby. No doubt, current APC government are the smartest governments in the history of our country. Don't forget, they've had Lagos State for over 25 years. They are very smart. They think very smart. They always find solution to every problem. Spending $9 million, our hard-earned money, to lobby America to say, no, please don't come and bomb us again. We are okay. Look at Morocco. Ordinary Lagos State is richer than Morocco. Currently, Morocco is hosting AFCON, and 2030, Morocco will be hosting World Cup. Morocco has turned to a destination for so many European countries. Oh, this is a sad moment in our country. Look at, for the past 10, 15 years, so many cases of corruption, but nobody is in jail. 95% of the people that are accused of corruption are now the one taking key positions, are now the one making statements, going to TV, radio stations to talk to us in our country. They've successfully put judiciary where they want judiciary to be. So you just hear trillion gone, billion gone, this gone, but nobody is in jail. Over 70% of people that have been accused are back in government. If they are not back directly, they are back indirectly. Except the ones that are not supporting this APC government. For some of you that are able, that are opportune to be in Morocco, to see firsthand of what is happening in Morocco. You guys can see now that Muslim is not a bad religion. They just painted Muslim as an aggressive religion in Nigeria because Morocco is 80% Muslim. And they all eat together, dine together, come together for the progress of their country. We drove from Marrakesh to Fez. We drove at night, no single pothole, no single roadblock, no fear of kidnapping or adoption, no banditry. Everything was smooth. The security in Morocco is the same as the one they have in Europe, America, UK, Australia, Asia. Federal government paying 9 million to lobby shows that they've got a lot to hide. So much to hide. What a country. Do you know that ordinary Lagos State is richer than Morocco? This is the Morocco that is hosting currently, I repeat, hosting AFCON. And they are about to host World Cup 2030. How did...
It is happening already. I warned you and I told you. You may disregard the agitation for Biafra and tag it as nothing. But I'm warning you today. If you continue, the wrath of God will be upon you. As I warned the zoo many, many years ago, if you don't allow we Biafrans to go, that zoological republic called Nigeria will be a worse place than Somalia. And today it is happening. It is happening already.
Indeed. So everybody's trying to point fingers. The people who are supposed to do the job, to do the work, protect us. Criminals who are supposed to be in prison, they are in government houses across Nigeria. They are enjoying the privilege of honorable men, honorable women, dishonorable people. Lawbreakers, law criminals are making laws for the whole country. Oh, that's what happened. They made laws called the new tax laws. And it is meant to be in effect right now. So the purpose of the tax law, according to them, this is one I'm going to talk. It's like I'm going to tell you a story. Okay? So please indulge me, because that's how you're going to get it. Okay? They said that Nigerians are paying too many taxes. In order to now harmonize all these taxes together and ensure that the poor people are not taxed. So they now developed a new tax law with a new frame, this and that. Controversies trailed it from the Genesis now to Revelation. People kept raising their concern. The first thing that got people talking was that harmonize all the taxes. Like, what do you mean? Like, you already have all of these laws on taxes and taxation and revenue collections and redistribution and all that. All these things have been sorted. So what are you trying to do? So Kolu now told them, he said, they have a template like they did in Lagos when Kolu became the governor in 1999. This is their story. Lagos was generating 600 million naira annually, which was a lie. But yeah, they've been telling the story repeatedly. So Tinubu took it by re-engineering the taxation, the that, right? And it took it from that to over 20 billion. Then Fashola came, built on what Tinubu did, and then Lagos just started generating over 200 billion. And from 600 million. So from 200 billion, Lagos started generating 400 billion. Now that Sanwo-Iku is there, Lagos State is now generating almost 1 trillion naira annually on taxes and all of that too. Here you get me now. They said Tinubu did that. So he's going to do the same thing for Nigeria. So Nigeria will have more money. State will have more money. So the first thing they did was to devalue Nigeria currency. Do you get me now? Devalued it by over 1,000%. That's another story. So the tax is going to tax the rich more, and it's going to tax the poor less. If you are not earning above so and so, the blah, the blah. So that seemed straightforward until people started talking about alteration, meaning they have altered the past law that Tinubu signed. You know, when the National Assembly make laws and passed it, right, they will then send it to the president. The president will go through it. They will give him a copy. Then they will do what they call the signing day, right? Just on the signing day, oh, hang on, I've jumped something there. So when they make laws or pass any law, they will send a copy to the president. So if the president is comfortable with the content, everything inside, they will choose a signing day. That signing day is going to be, oh, the president is going to sign the law tomorrow. So he will do ceremony. Once he signed it, right, it becomes law. And once it becomes law, they will then gazette it. Yeah, gazette means they will now file it and say this. And that's it. But in Tinubu's case, no, it's not. We raised the alarm that Tinubu want to create alpha beta in a bigger form at the national scale. They said, no. There is no part of the law that allowed anybody to collect money for, there's not going to be any alpha beta thing. So when we discovered that they've actually included it, that they will change the name of FIRS, Federal Inland Revenue Service, collecting, they will change the name to NRS or something, NJS, whatever. So changing the name then means this new agency, like the old, so this new agency can then, subcontracted the job of collecting money. They told us, but it's not new. If you are going to pay, if you have been paying taxes in Nigeria, have you not used remitter? Have you not used pay stock? Have you not, they said they are all collecting money for federal government, but they deceived you. This was the first stage. So we now realize that in that same supposed law, they have included a kind of like an agency deals between Nigeria and France, that France is going to help Nigeria to collect the data of the taxes and to help Nigeria improve on this, their new tax law. Kilo conference about collecting Nigerians' data because of tax law. How did they come by that? They signed a MOU, in an agreement that they never made public. Nobody knows the content of what Nigeria signed with France on top this tax thing. Then people started hearing the stories that they could be arrested, they could go to their bank and collect all their money because of taxes. All these stories were like, but these were not part of what they told us they passed. What's going on? Then, boom, there's another version. What? What version? What do you mean version? There is another version. The one that Tinubu was supposedly signed publicly is different from the one they gazetted. They denied it. They said it's a fake news, it's a lie, there's nothing like that. Bring the copy. People started showing the copies. They started showing the sections. Said, this is not part. And when I say people, it's not just me and you. I am talking about lawmakers, people who actually debated the law, who passed it. 18 lawmakers, including members of APC, they came out and said, people should be arrested because that's a crime. You cannot alter an already passed legislation signed. You can't alter it behind them. You have to send it back to them for an amendment. You can't do that yourself. That's a crime. Maybe Tinubu knows or he didn't know. In fact, Tinubu should be interested that if that is the case, who are those who did that? They must. People, why would you do that? That's a crime. But no, it's APC now. So they now tried right, to replace the version, the original version, which is the National Assembly clerk. They now tried to change that to Tinubu's version. All of that, they still couldn't really do. It has now, they were denying it all. It has now created confusion. They said they were supposed to write a regulation, that is the guidelines of how they are going to implement the new tax law. Yeah, there's supposed to be sort of like a guidelines. They will say, all these things you have been hearing and all that, so there should be guidelines on how this is going to really go. And how they will collect all these taxes from you. People will want to write guidelines. They're now confused. Should the guidelines they want to write be based on the one Tinubu signed, the original version, or it should be on the forged version that they gazetted? The confusion right now is why they are proposing that they should hold on. They shouldn't start taking the taxes now. They should hold on. They want to figure it out. And the guy who wrote it, KPMG, a world-renowned accounting firm, auditing had been a tax, law firm. They came out and they said there is this tax law that they are saying this is absolute like trash. It's going to actually create a lot of problems. So they pointed out all the flaws. Different from even this alteration that we are talking about. So we are talking about the implementation of when you begin to look into it. They pointed all of this out. The guy, Taiwo Yedele, who said there was no any alteration, all these stories are fake news. Guess what he's saying now? The same guy is now telling Nigerians that there are some little, he called it little issues about the tax law that shouldn't stop the implementation of the tax law. What are you talking about, mister? What do you mean little by? What are you talking about? Here he is admitting that, yeah, there's some infractions. Infraction in this sense is actually a crime.
They haven't even issued all these guidelines. That is true. Our plan in an ideal world was for all these regulations, guidelines, public notices to be ready like 3 months before December, because we want people to give their feedback, debate it, finalize, and gazette. But in our real world, it did not happen like that. And as I speak to you today, we have more than 40 regulations, guidelines, and public notices that have been finalized. But we can't release a single one of them because we're still waiting for what is the final version of the Gazette. You know why? Because the Authentication Act says whatever the government printer publishes is the evidence of the law that was passed. That government printer published something which we shared and we said this is the official version. Lawmakers said it's not what they passed. So they said they would do their own gazette. They set up their committee, they did their own review, they did their own gazette. They sent me a copy, soft copy. But that's not what the Authentication Act says. So I sent my staff, go to government printer and go and buy. They went there as of last week, they said it's not ready, that they should wait. So I also told everybody, the NRS, GRB, you to wait, because we can't issue guidelines when we are not 100% certain that this is the final official position. I called my staff this morning, I said, go back there, be following up every day, go there, don't call them, go and sit down there. And I got feedback as I was here that says that, I don't even know whether I should say this one because I don't know what the press will report. But in the interest of accountability and transparency, so my staff told me that they said everything that they printed, the National Assembly collected from them and said they shouldn't sell to anyone, that they want to complete their review. While that is good, it also creates the uncertainty again. So in other words, what I'll say to you is the explanation we have provided about the law, Because all this issue of they've altered, they've not altered, it's not even a lot. There are few items that shouldn't affect the main thing that people need to, nothing about the tax rate, about the tax burden, the filing deadline. So, but this is the best I can say to you as we speak. Hopefully we can get over this sooner rather than later. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeram, did any of that make any sense to you, genuinely? Eh? That's a professional taxman who decided to put together what he believed was to help the government of Nigeria and also help Nigerians. Professional guys, the guy will be saying he was working with this top firm. I don't know the name. Before they drafted him to come and do this job. But he's working with career crooks that he himself started sounding like a carpenter who is doing the job of a doctor. Yeah, the party, there's some little things. What do you mean? It is law. So the reason why we can't write our guideline is because they already passed law. National Assembly is now talking about gazetting their own. National Assembly is talking about reviewing it. So because of that, that's why we cannot really release our guidelines now. What are you talking about? Can you actually not really process this? National Assembly have nothing to do with an already signed law. What should be happening is the investigation on how they are talking about the publisher of government's publisher. They were going to blame somebody at the end of the day. They can even arrest somebody and say, this is the person that altered it. Like, what are you doing? But they know what they are doing. Get you so confused that whenever this kind of conversation pops up, it's just going to be so draining for you. I'm so tired of this whole story. But yet, they have already started activating some part of the law. Yeah, if you transfer money now, or you go to the POS to withdraw money, you're going to pay 7.5% VAT. But that one is in effect right now. So it is all about how to pick your pocket and how to pick your pocket. What's going to happen to you if you fail to pay or label your money correctly in your tax filing and the rest of that? So what's going to happen to you? They've stated that, how they could take your money, how they could arrest you, and they could, a lot of things they could do to you. But none part of the law says every penny collected under this law must be accounted for by every person that is allocated to. So anyone found guilty of, fraudulently or corruptly enriching themselves with this public fund, they should go to life imprisonment or they should face firing squad. Something that says, this money that you're about to collect from these people, are you with me? There will be consequences if you decide to keep spending it the way you normally spend. And there's no consequences, nothing. So they're explaining to people how to get used to what they are about to unleash on you. And I wish you all the best. Or should I say I wish you what you probably wish is yourself. So let's take calls tonight, right? Because my time is quite up. So I'll take a short break. And I bet you probably have one or two things to add yourself, right? But before, if you have to leave, right? Like the broadcast if you haven't already. Like it and share it. And maybe subscribe to my channel as well. Yeah. So I'm going to be back in a minute or two, right? And you can still stay back, all right, to hear the other people. Oh, hang on. There was this clip, before we go to that too, all right? This is our mentor, the MC Olueran of Lagos. No, he's actually the national chairman of the NURTW. I don't know why they set him up this way, right? He was giving a speech that caught the internet earlier today.
Mr. Gawasa James Hala Benue State. Gawasa James Aula. of national progress. Are you all to focus on the right of the union and receive in former glory us to what has coming? Honestly, again, welcome to the conference. Please let us call us suffer. We may God bless you. Your
complain about insecurity, right? You complain about unemployment, right? Yes. You complain about the fact that, oh, we are hungry, right? You say we want to protest, right? You say, oh, you don't have medical facilities, right? You say you don't have good schools and good teachers, right? You say minimum wage, right?
I will be back in a minute or two, so don't go anywhere. The line is, let me check. The line is open. Should be. Okay, I'll be back again. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for your time. So, like I said, the line is opened. However, it seemed that it is not really connecting. So, let's keep trying. I'm trying to keep it connected. Okay. So, in the absence of that, I could easily just play this clip for you, which is the advice given by the former Attorney General of Nigeria, Michael Andoahka. Also, he's from Benue. Right? So, Tinubu.
My call was in good faith. It did not in any way undermine the sovereignty of this country. If you get from what transpired, the Nigerian government said they acted, they gave the intelligence to the Americans. The Americans did not just come here, he said what was a corroboration. That is my understanding of what happened. And I think the Minister of Foreign Affairs was emphatic that the strike in Sokoto was a corroboration between the Americans and the Nigerian government. Nigeria gave them the intelligence. I said, if that is the case, as the bandits are moving away from Sokoto, concentrating within the Benue Valley, particularly around Benue State and their environs, causing mayhem. My understanding is that the ground forces will move on them within the Benue axis. But it looks like, from what you said, they have come in numbers. They are overturning villages. I will give you a particular local government, which is Okunran local government. Out of 13 wards, there's an occupation of 10 wards. You can, at the main market in Okunran, which is the Zakiman main market that produces yams for the country, they have settled less than 3 kilometers away from the main market. And that is alarming. Now, what I said is that there should be the same collaboration between the Nigerian government and US government to flush them out anywhere they are trying to concentrate in a group. It extends up to the attack that happened in Oyo. Anywhere there is collaboration, there's concentration, the bandits are concentrating. There's need for either the Nigerian Air Force to move in, or if they do not have the capacity, then the same collaboration that happened with the US government to be able to flush them out, to avoid them causing mayhem. My main understanding was that the collaboration was intended to finally put a stop to this. I want to give you an example. When this crisis started, during the President Yaradua's time, because I always refer where I was an active participant, what the government adopted was no mercy. There was zero tolerance on mercy, on the bandits. Anywhere we heard there was concentration, our military used to go there to flush them out. This is a situation that politics should be completely set aside, because you are talking of a situation where 80% in Benue State, 80% are farmers, and the farmers have been displaced. There's a potential danger of hunger that's even more serious than the mayhem being caused by the bandits. And this is why I still think that collaborating with US or any other country to flush out the bandit does not in any way undermine the integrity of this country. Okay. I have faith, great hope in the security architecture of Mr. President Bola Tinubu now. Okay. But it goes beyond having faith in government. It goes to practical action. Okay. And this action entails that government of Nigeria must collaborate with sister countries, neighboring countries, and collaborate with US to put a stop to this mayhem, because there's no purpose for this bandit.
Okay.
The transmission line is a super highway. For generated electricity and power. They could not even make a down payment for a roasted corn.
So that's the former Attorney General of Nigeria. So let's see if we have our first caller connected. Hopefully. Hello.
Hello, my good.
Hello, sir. How are you, Baba?
I'm good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
This is Adeza from Edinburgh.
Oh, Adeza. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
I know. It's good to hear from you again as well. Happy New Year once again.
Thank you so much. Same to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, year to year, we keep on discussing the challenges that Nigerians face. You see, it is unfortunate that we have worst leader in the world. Understand? The first problem, the first stage in addressing challenges is by accepting and recognize that that is a problem.
That's right.
When you have done that, you will now define the problem, gather data and specify the problem, and look for how to solve it.
Right.
Since this issue started happening, Nigeria government have never accepted either the killing of Christian genocide or this. The most problem is that there is a killing in Nigeria. Do you understand? And Christians are the majority. Do you understand? I have lived in Jos for good 9 years. I know if you are talking of insecurity in Nigeria, I can say that I can speak authoritatively on that. I stay in Jos for 9 years. On different occasions, families, Christian villages are wiped away. 7 family members are killed, and no police intervention, no government intervention. Government has not done anything since this thing started. Now it took Donald Trump's message for them to be running helter-skelter, and till now they have not still agreed that is a problem. When that airstrike was done in Sokoto, people have military or government who want to do something. If it is a partnership, the Nigeria security support have been a strategic location so that those people who will be running out, they will be taken away. Do you understand? Instead of that, Musa, who was just appointed as the minister, he went to Sokoto and be snapping with the head of what they call it, or the head of the caliphate there, the Satan of Sokoto, as normally call it, was snapping, making picture. I said, oh, if I have a point, just sack him. He's a serious person.
Promising him that they are probably saying he's not a target or something, because I don't know why they went after the airstrike to go and pay him homage. Even the chief of the army staff they just appointed also went there to go and pay homage.
It doesn't make sense. Understand? What happened that nobody have arrested Gumi? What Gumi has been doing is more than what they are accused of Nnamdi Kanu doing. Till today, he's still talking on the media house that is giving platform to be talking. They are not ready. And unfortunately, the Nigerian people, they are not ready. I was speaking with somebody last week. He said, if they come out, they will use army and police to kill them. I said, it's because you have not come in a large number. There is power in number. If we have, let's say we have 1 million people and 600 people come out, who is that government? But when we say come out, only 3 people will come out. The government will overpower. There is power in number. The people are ready themselves because the power belongs to them. It will continue. It will continue. They will make noise in the pages of paper and the rest of it, and that ends it. Yes, America can do something, but they cannot go down to the nitty-gritty. It is the same Nigerian people who will be making way for all those people to be running away. Now, Kogi State, my state, is gradually becoming like Benue and Jos now. I was seeing the picture you are showing to me in Kaba aside this evening. It gradually become like a Plateau State and a Benue State.
You know, the thought of these places existing alone should send shivers down the spines of a lot of us. Because that could practically be my village, my community, where my own...
Yes.
You are seeing people being uprooted from the ancestral lands to God knows where, to get lost in the shovel, right?
Yes.
That should scare a lot of us.
Instead of them to post the governor, they are campaigning for 2027. And the new INEC chairman has not been able to sanction anybody. The time for campaign has not reached. People are campaigning. They left people that are dying every day alone. Nobody cares. And the INEC chairman is there. He has not sanctioned anybody. That shows unseriousness in the part of his administration. He just started. But have not shown anything that I show this man is serious to conduct a good election. See what they are doing in rivers, see what they are doing everywhere. And people are just docile. They are not thinking, they are not doing anything. Rather, they come to Facebook and shout and make noise. Until we are ready, nothing will happen.
Themselves and all that. But yeah.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for stopping by, okay?
Yeah, all right.
It's really good to
all right, thank you.
Have a good one, yeah. So that's Adeza from Edinburgh, right? So let's see. Yeah, I think the line is practically okay. So Kinsley, thank you for that. So yeah, indeed. If the people on their own, which as we have actually seen for years now, right? It seemed that the APC, Egbekegbe, they have succeeded in breaking the supposed spirit of Nigerians who are suffering this hands. Like it's like helpless, we are in a helpless situation. Hello.
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 Are you good today?
Yes, ma'am.
How are you?
I'm very well.
I'm good. Yeah, compliment of the season, Akodu.
Same to you, ma'am.
Yeah. My good. Honestly, I'm totally fed up of that country, to be honest. Because look at everything everyone is saying. Though initially, I think any CO team members already foreseen what will happen. You understand? We know that once you voted this man, Tinubu, into the power, definitely, it will show everybody in Michigan. And you frustrate everybody. And he's a carefree person. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He has that strong heart that whatever is happening and teaching, it's not removing anything like
it just keeps adding and adding and adding. It's like there's no reprieve for people. No.
That's nothing. That man always put there. Like that man is so cruel. It's only because everything that is happening, he believes what money cannot do, more money will do it. If it cannot do, money will do it. That is brutal. See everything that is going on. Now, how on earth I can't even comprehend. How could you say you're giving America money for like to
say these things is not happening? Tell them that I mean, ma'am, they are actually happy to tell the world that people are dying in Nigeria.
This is unspeakable. This is only dying on your roof. Honestly, we have to be very, very careful about that country, the way it's going. But I know I always say it. Already, I've seen it coming. I saw it coming because I know that the person they choose is an evil person. So what is the evil person? I always put it when I comment. I always say it like yeah, so he can do. He's going to do what? And then see what he's doing everywhere now. He's just winning. He has destroyed all the parties. He has destroyed all the parties in Nigeria. And he's trying to make it like one more party, just APC.
That's right.
That is what he's doing. That is his target. And he's doing it in own shit all the time. That's just make it comes to pass. And the Nigerian people also, look at them. They don't even, I think, I don't know. I can't even figure them out.
All this struggle for power and money. Yes. This is really for what? What's the end goal? Because I thought that if you have power, it is to change the situation and now you met it. You get that now? But if you make it,
you are talking of a normal person. Yeah. You are talking of a manual. We are talking of a normal and sensible, sensitive, sensitive person. Yes, that one is not applicable to these evil people because they are greedy. They are selfish. They don't care about any other person except them and the people around them. And if you can do like they believe, just support me. If you are with me, then I will do crumbles.
Yeah. And some
You
people are very
understand?
comfortable with that.
With that, so that is just it. I always say it, even especially those people that are in the diaspora. We are in diaspora, where system is working, right? And our own country, 30 days, 30 euro, yeah, is drowning, and we don't care, and we just depend on the we are contributing to it. Our no dig the whole thing. Let's just go to drown more. I want to one EBT systems in work at the real cotton law in Nigeria. Everything is going just from bad to worse, and every now and then.
Everyone is just trying to cash on it, see what they can make.
Yes, see what is happening. It's so very calm. Sometimes I discuss with people because it's not happening to them. They don't care as well. And I always say to them, the survivor of yesterday might be a victim today.
It's just a
matter of time. If you think it cannot really happen, if you think it can't happen to you, sit down there until it happens. Then you know that it's real. You understand? So, well, I don't know. My God, you're doing your part. Honestly, you are doing your best. You are doing. It's what you are doing. Yeah. Just to open people's eyes, like this is not right. This is how it's supposed to be. All these hidden things that all these our people they are trying to hide. You bring it out. You give us proof. For us to see what is going on, and anyone listens to you. But you are doing your part. God will reward you.
Amen.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you so much, my ego. Just. Honestly, Allah about because I'm a but I always say that thing. Yeah, we just say that thing. Allah about because what is it? And I'm sorry, then give me 1 minute, please. What is it God has not done for us? Just tell me. What is it God has not done for us? What else do we need? We are one of the chosen. That country is one of the chosen ones that we can say, yes, God loves this country. He gave us good weather. He gave us land. We have land. We have, even in that land, we have so many.
We have resources under those lands that could survive.
Those lands. Not just land. Exactly. We have it. Even the land, the soil is fertile.
That's right.
We have everything for us to live like jets. We are kings and queens. But what is happening? It's now our assignment. Assignment one, I feel like to so when I just say that, well, that is the I think because everybody demands on
maybe at a point, maybe at a point we are going to realize a lot of us are going to realize that Allah will not share until we actually really act.
No, because that is our own assignment. That is the work we're supposed to do, and we failed to do it. So I don't know what will happen. Thank you so much. God bless you. My regards to the family. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You have a good day, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Indeed, God is not going to come down and do it.
The cost of fuel has gone up. Food and other prices have followed it. Households and businesses struggling. Things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there's not.
Chai!
The cost of fuel has.
So I wish there is other way, but there is none. Just the same tone he used when he said subsidy is gone. with no real preparation, no real arrangement or anything at all to cushion the effect of that announcement. He just announced it. The same way they announced the removal of education subsidy. Just removed it. Removed the electricity subsidy. Just removed it. Why people kept complaining and rolling in the entire policies one after the other. They call it reforms. Hello there.
My good evening and happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. How are you?
It's me, Flora.
Oh, Lady Flora. How are you, ma'am?
I'm okay.
You actually decided to call in tonight. That's beautiful.
Yeah, because I just felt that it's not. I've been wanting to talk to you. It's not busy, so I just said,
not that busy,
let me quickly call. To thank you.
It's good to hear from you, ma'am. I bet a lot of people in the temple right now possibly are like, oh yeah, that's her.
I know, my ego. I just want to thank you so. Like the last caller did. I can't thank you enough. You see, you are exposing a lot of us, especially we over here. But the problem is that the people back home, they don't know as much as we know about Nigeria. That is my concern. That's my problem. That's my. It hurts me because if they know as much as we here know, okay, how would they even know? No light.
And we are talking about the vast majority, not those ones who are even like on social media who are dedicated their time on other politics. So we're talking about the vast majority. They don't know.
They don't know. That is my. When I'm discussing with my sister says, what are you talking? How come you are there? You know more than.
Yeah, I didn't know all those things happening.
That's what I'm saying. They don't know. So the problem is going to continue. This is not. Look, I believe in prayer, but this is not prayer, my good. It hurts me so much. I lost one of my aunties in Port Harcourt, and one of us in Benin was telling me, "Oh, bring money. Let me give you money to travel. If anything happens to you, who will they hold?" I said, "No, not me. Please. Whatever you want to do there, it's because of you."
I'm not going to pay for your transport to those who likely going to take you. That is how concerning for me, possibly like tens of thousands of people like yourself. You see, a lot of people don't understand why the diasporans are more interested in this. A lot of diasporans have investments in Nigeria. This whole madness has reduced their visit to their own investment, their project, and the rest of that, right? Then we have laws there. And there are many of them. If anything happens to some of them, it will affect us, no matter how much we
one way or the other. Huh? Yes. And really, to be honest, it's because of you are listening. I've turned my back on it. Yes, because of you. At times I will be on the platform, but I won't say anything. I just say, let me just listen. I know my good is saying the right. Let me just listen and learn. That's all. Because it's heartbreaking. Okay, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Look at the criminal they put there. Why do you think the country will go? You move on. It's not going to move on now. Look at every sector of the whole place. It's rotting. What do you expect now?
From the president, vice president, senate president.
Okay, this money now, the recent money now, my ego. If this recent money now, they now use it. I can sure the Americans that you are working to reach out to these people to so that this, how can you have an IDP in your own country?
And you are not at war. Please, that one too. You are not at war. You have refugee. You have millions. This is not just number of human beings, children.
Please. It's hard. Let me just leave you. If there's other people that want to talk, please. Nigeria matter.
Be a little bit draining.
No.
You will sit down and be like, but we can't run away from it, ma'am.
Yeah, but you do. Yeah. What are you going to do? Office today. The same thing we're discussing. What are we going to do?
If you're inside the church, it's even worse because there's one of, I told you I'm a chaplain. One of us was saying what a priest in an Anglican church in Nigeria is doing. They are worse than the politicians. We were discussing it in my department
entirely too, you know.
In my department today, even is my weakness. So I will set up. So where would you start from?
Where would you start from?
Good night, my love to your family.
And to yours too, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bless you, ma'am. Okay. You should have a wonderful night, okay? Have a good one. And I do have another caller, but let me quickly say a big thank you to Milady Latu Aruna. Thank you so much, ma'am. And I know, God bless you. So thank you so much for the text and always the support as well. Okay, bless you. Here is a charm, our lady. Lady Charm, is that you?
It's me. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It's like we're having ladies' night tonight, which is beautiful though. Right?
Ladies' night.
Yes, ladies' night.
Yes, I think all the ladies are tired of Nigeria's story.
And the interesting part is that what will make this work, in fact, the message even more acceptable, is when women are interested. Because the moment the women are interested in a subject, right, eventually that problem is about to actually go away. You know, for those who understand the political kind of like antecedent, okay, once women are interested and they are in large numbers, so that's why I appreciate those of you who calls in onto the program, because it's beautiful.
I hope so. I hope so.
We just need
I was listening to Adeiza. Adeiza's input was actually the reason why I was calling. He was saying that, I think he said that Nigeria has bad leaders. And I said, first of all, I don't really believe in democracy. And I think I've been saying that for quite a while. I think democracy as a whole, even as an ideology, is a scam. You know, where you claim to or purport to give your vote or your
sovereignty,
turn away your rights
to somebody.
You hand over everything to somebody to what they call it, to do things on your behalf, and you want to believe that they will have your best interest. But what we have seen time and time again, even in the places that the so-called democracy is supposed to be working, like in the United States, a lot of bills are passed and things are passed that the people don't generally want, but because they have so-called, giving their rights, because they told them that you can vote, it is government by the people for the people, but meanwhile it is not. It is government for the highest bidder. Do what we want and don't worry about the electorate. They will come again next time. So again, like I said,
wait for the next election and vote them.
Wait for the next election and vote them out. So I don't.
Power. That's what makes you feel like, okay, we can endure them. Let's vote them out next time. And it's a process.
Next time, exactly.
It's like participating in a ritual.
Exactly, it's like participating in a ritual. Listen, anyone, if you take a step back and just, look at democracies and just the way they behave, you know that democracy is a hoax, it's a scam, it has never worked. All it has helped to do is to accelerate the degradation and the degeneration of the human race. That is what exactly it has been able to achieve. Nothing more, nothing less. Anyway, with regards to Tinubu being a bad leader, I disagree. In as much as he's a bad leader, we have bad followers, because we have followers who do not know their rights. Because if you had good followers, if people had people who understood exactly what their so-called power was, right? It doesn't matter who is in power. One day you wait for them, just like Adeiza is saying. It's not bad leadership that is worrying us. It's bad followers. Us, we are the ones that allow them to carry on. Because if we actually held them accountable in the sense that look at this tax nonsense that is going on, and everybody is folding their arms. The way exactly everyone is keeping quiet. Are we acting like this is not going to affect you? It's going to affect everybody, even you and me. When we give money to our parents who are still in Nigeria, or our loved ones who are still in Nigeria, they will be the ones to any money that we give them is no longer going to be enough, because you have a stupid government that is going to be collecting 7.5% every time they go there, for goodness sake, and everybody is keeping quiet. Just like that idiot that was interviewed. Incoherent, saying nothing. And this is supposed to be intentionally incoherent. He wasn't saying anything that made sense. You know, and he gets away with it because largely the populace are ignorant, they're illiterate, so they can go ahead and, you know, be as incoherent as they want to be, because nobody is going to challenge them. Even the elites that know that these people are incoherent and stupid at the same time, nobody is taking them to task. Why? Nobody is speaking to them and saying anything. You know, sometimes the Nigerian situation or just is frustrating. Because, like I said, in as much as we have terrible leaders, I think we have worse followers. People who are just, I don't understand.
Remember that time?
I don't know.
All the elites, Nigeria elites, thinking elites. Do you remember that time? I'm like,
yes.
You are supposed to be people who are making money legitimately. If government's policies that is going to hurt you, or keeps hurting you, if you are not corrupt, that should
if you're not corrupt yourself,
you to ensure that the right people actually wins power for the sake of your business.
Exactly.
It's so dirty, like the elite are so dirty, charm, right? But they never complain about anything that per se.
They don't complain about anything, because I think, again, the elite, the so-called elite, and this, you know, I told you my father was an economist, and part of the things that he used to say to us, even as growing up as a teenager, he said that we're not being ruled by the bourgeoisie, we're being ruled by peasants. Even in as much as we're saying that these people are so-called elite, they're all peasants, and they act like peasants. They act like people who will never see money, and so they don't do anything about it. You know, if, like you said, if you're a legitimate businessman and you understand how your business is run from point A to point Z, and they are, you know, putting all these bills and passing all these laws and everything, useless policies that in your way that are going to be constituting a nuisance for you. Why are you folding your arms? Why you are the master of your own business? There are so many things that you control. You control the people who work for you. You know that at the end of the day, if you don't suffer, if you are okay, the people under you will not be okay. And at some point in time, they're going to suffer for it when they're not okay. You can gather those people and say, okay, no, we cannot work like this anymore. You have a voice, but you have a country where the people who with voices will refuse to use their voices. You know, and that's why I said, for me, in as much as we have bad leaders, and yes, we do, we have the worst, we have the worst of us. In fact, the worst of the worst. There's no way to even quantify or even qualify, what they call it, to qualify people like Tinubu. To say that they're worse is even is putting it like mildly. Do you understand that they're worse? These people are evil. They're horrible, right? But in as much as we have this, a part of the problem is us. This our Sidon look is finishing all of us. Oh my God, I beg. When I called today, my daughter said to me, please, mommy, when you're talking to my don't shout, don't be angry. I said,
you know something, right? You know something. For you saying that, I'm going to say this, right? In another, you know, how old is she?
Oh, she's 16.
Oh, in
another man now.
10 years, she's going to understand why you are shouting when you talk to Mayegu.
Oh yeah, well,
by then, yeah, I'm telling you, then she would be like, "Oh, no wonder my mom always kind of like gets a little bit."
She's always shouting. She's very passionate when she's talking about Nigeria.
Now I know, you know what I mean. But we hope that our children won't really have to exist in that hostile world.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. Mayegu, thank you so much.
God bless you, ma'am.
All right, you too.
Cheers,
Thank you.
Good.
Bye.
So I have another caller. Yeah. Hello. Did I get you? Oh, I didn't. Hello.
So I have another caller.
Can you hear me? Hello there.
Yeah. Well, I've been watching the show and I've been hearing people complain and call the people stupid and ignorant, and you know, how many of you know your ward? How many of you know your local government chairman? How many of you can say you can win at your polling unit? Not many people can say that. They just want to complain. They don't want to do the hard work. They don't want to do the grassroots work. They don't want to invest time. They don't want to invest money. They are just looking for quick solution. Quick solution is how you got Buhari. You know, they are now seeking quick solution in ADC again. You are saying people should go and protest. You are sitting in your comfortable house. And you've not learned lesson. That's another thing. Most Nigerians don't learn lesson. Have you asked yourself, why is it that every time you protest, they attack you? You see that none of them can ever answer that question. Because Nigerian police is not trained for protest. They are trained for riots. So if you are going to protest, you are just signing your unaliving warrant. So, you know, madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Everybody that I've seen complain, they are complaining about doing the same thing everybody is doing. I've not seen any of them talk about a different approach, a different solution, nothing. Just complaining and looking for somebody to fix the problem for them. You know, always wanting quick fixes. If you are depending on the international community doesn't really care. As long as they can get their oil and their mineral resources, to hell with you. You know, they don't care about your internal affairs. Do you think they don't know what is going on in Nigeria? They are benefiting from your cheap labor now. When they see you in their country, it makes them feel better than you. You know, because you are everywhere but home. They know that, okay, you are a lazy person. You do not fight for you are not smart enough to implement things, always complaining, never bringing new solution. How many of them have sat down for 1 year or 2 years to try to even become a counselor or put somebody that they know there? You know, get votes without buying it. Get people's loyalty, not by insulting them, not by looking at some of these people calling and saying, oh, government is treating me bad. They don't even treat their house girl good. They don't even treat their gatesmen good. They look at them like they are not even human beings.
Because, I mean, I like all your postures, by the way. You are talking in the third person. It was more or less like you guys, you don't have this, you have not done this. It was more or less like, you are not involved. You must be doing a lot of your part that you probably feels like could have changed things, if I may ask. What have you done?
Well, I have my own approach, and part of my approach is not making noise, shouting. When you are making noise, you make yourself a target. Right. Before you can even do what you want to implement, you've already let the enemy know who you are, what you plan to do. So by the time you are trying to do what you need to do, they've already targeted you from the beginning. They've already suppressed you. They've already started attacking you.
Or you're not saying that you're speaking in the third person. You are doing the same thing that you possibly accuse other people of. They just complain.
No.
They are complaining about what government is not doing and what the people are not doing, especially the people who are facing the whole thing directly in Nigeria, okay? That's their own complaint. Your own complaint is that, no, they are complaining that government is not doing something, but they are not doing something. But you are speaking in the third person.
Okay, I cannot tell you.
Like, don't worry, I mean, sorry, right? I wanted to hear things like, for example, I live in this so place because I know you're not calling from Nigeria too. So I live in so place, but I can tell you I've done this, I've done that, and I've made this difference. For example, it doesn't have to be, it may even be APC. Maybe you did it for APC as your own contribution to make a difference. Others may need to kind of copy you. That's what I wanted to hear. But you seem to be speaking in the third person, like you guys are insulting, you shouldn't get that. I would like to hear what
let me say what I am not doing. I am not going and trying to convince people to do the logical thing. I am not insulting the religious institution. Instead, I understand that they have a following, and I am trying to make my presence there, because at the end of the day, it is all about presence. You can't convince these people to do the logical thing, even if it is in their interest. I have understood that. I am not trying to make noise and tell people to protest, because I know the truth. I know that these people are trained for riots. So in order to save people's lives, I am doing what is called grassroots support. Doing something here little and something there little to gain people's trust. I'm not going to shout as a technocrat because these people, yes, they are illiterate, and one thing they hate is when they don't like somebody coming and telling them what to do, because they have this attitude of, oh, he feels like it's better than us.
Trying to get them to actually hear what you want them to do. Like you said, you've been making contact, grassroots contact, and all of that stuff, right?
Yes, without making noise. Because once you make noise, you become a target. And anything you try to do or implement at that point is already failed. At that point, if they can mark you, if you become exposed, if they know what you are trying to do, just forget about it. You don't need to make noise. You don't need to shout about it. You don't need to complain. Do what you want to do quietly.
Do that thing you want to do, and
quietly.
I see.
Let me give you an example. Okay. When APC wants to shield a candidate, when do you hear about the candidate? It is until it is campaign period. Right. Their candidate has not been shouting for a long time about what they are going to do or where they are going to do it. No, they do their grassroots work first. You will not hear about this person till the last minute.
Right.
That is how it is done in Nigeria. He has gained the recognition of the grassroots. So when he eventually comes out, all the people will be like, this is this person, this is this person. Quickly, he has gained the support.
Right.
Because they know him from grassroots level.
Your own proposition is that for those who are interested in participating in election to actually make a difference, they shouldn't just be online, like you said, making noise, abusing. They should go to the...
You have made yourself a target.
Okay, I get you. But you know that, for instance, on this platform, right, not many of us actually are interested in elections too. But that's going to be...
Then how do you expect to solve your problem?
Maybe you have not
if the people you complain about are using that method, and you don't want to use that method.
Solutions. That's why I'm saying that maybe you have not been really like watching. But as I said, it's going to be a conversation for another time. Let's take another call because of our time, right? Thanks so much, okay, for calling in. All right. So let's take this. Here. I hope you connect too, right? Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hello there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you. Sorry for the long wait.
No problem. I know. It's been that guy and the last speaker now. Nigeria, that's the people who have a problem in Nigeria. Now, they never understand the system. How can a house stand without good foundation? The country don't have a good foundation. That's where people lack of that knowledge of the country. Country that don't have any foundation. How can you stand? How many years we are talking this in passion? We come to democracy since 1999 to now. Nothing is working.
That's almost 27
The country is not a country. We are no one. We are different people putting together in one place to kill ourselves. Nothing more. Let's stop deceiving ourselves. Let's stop deceiving ourselves. Why these people fighting against these people that are talking about to share the country? Let the country, everybody go. Why are these people fighting? Because they know that when the country moves, everybody will go and create their own constitution. No country will stand without strong constitution. What is country is constitution. Nigeria don't have a constitution. What we are doing there is just a 419. The criminals is just everyone will come, he put their own constitution. Everybody, Nigeria don't have any constitution though. Nothing. Even that terrorism that we are talking. No constitution whole person as a terrorist in Nigeria. Nobody is a terrorist. Nobody can jail. If you go to the law, to follow the law of Nigeria to jail person as a terrorist, nobody can jail person. He can never jail one terrorist. No law. Which is Nigeria don't have a constitution. That's why all these things they are playing. They are playing the game. And the people put it is that the people that put this constitution is terrorists too. How can a thief give me a good constitution? A thief can never give me a good constitution. That's yes, because all of them are thieves. So what Nigeria needs is to destroy that foundation. Everybody go their way and start a beginning. lay good foundation of their place. He cannot come and build house without laying a foundation. That house will never stand.
Scholar said,
yes,
people are being killed if they go out to say they want to protest. So they've taken away the right to express their displeasure peacefully, right? Their own displeasure system. They've taken that right away from them. Now, the right to defend themselves, the judiciary is so compromised. So that last caller was pointing to that if you are not acknowledging the fact that these people are willing to kill Nigeria, they've been doing it, and there's been no consequence or no repercussion, right? That means we are not being truthful to ourselves, right? Meaning these people will kill them. So asking them to protest is no longer visible in that Nigerians, which is not what you're saying. The Constitution says Nigeria have the right to protest, but the government says no, you don't.
You don't.
So that means
so what do you need again?
The constitution of the people.
No. That's why it's only two things. Only thing we can make Nigeria succeed. Succeed is only bloody revolution. If we can work, only bloody. Nigeria have only two solutions: bloody revolution to kill the elite, start beginning again. The new person will enter, make constitution, give the law that when you do this thing, you die. Then give the law as the China do. This is the only thing. Number two is to divide the country. Everybody go their way. Nothing again. No nothing. No amendment. No peace. No peace.
After that, it's just a waste of time.
It's not time, my brother. Nothing again. It's only these two solutions. Bloody revolution. Killing the elite. Everybody will run. Everywhere we scatter. They start new conditions. They go to them with people will remain. Because no kingdom can stand without violence. Nigeria needs violence. The kingdom of God suffer violence. Violence touches by force.
I think we just need to tell themselves the truth that until we actually agree to live together, we can continue to lie to ourselves. That's, God created.
We're just deceiving ourselves. Okay, just listen to me, my brother. Look at Christians. They are killing Christians. Christians will not come out and fight. See Iran. Iran is fighting. People who want to help you, let's not deceive ourselves. An outsider will not come and help you without you fighting. He will start fighting. The outsider will come and pity for you. Come and help you. He will not just put your hand. Look at an outsider come and help you. It never happens. It can never happen. You have to start your fight by yourself. People will come. After Donald Trump comes, saying that they're killing Christians. Christians need to rise, to start making noise. They push the drum. They motivate the man to act. Nigerians are cowards. They finish them. They are cowards. They will push them to the wall. They will go and die. I'm not feeding them again. Let everybody finish. Let the government kill everybody. The one where the men, they take the weight. Just kill all of them. They're cowards.
To that stage, we need to probably conclude that we need to defend ourselves with or without the government. Now, waiting go little bit that.
They need to defend themselves. Yeah. Somebody can tell you if they're in the fast right.
I know if they're in the fast right now, but at the same time, we will not forget the fact that if you dare try it, now you they go there charge for terrorism. People will kill 12 cows.
My brother, no terrorism, no case of terrorism. This is we just deceiving ourselves.
I know.
The Nigerian no case. If Nigeria case of terrorism, they will judge the man saying that they carry terrorism. They not get the law. The law is not in the book. We know everything. It's not there.
Thank you so
much. They're just deceiving people.
Enjoy the rest.
Thank you.
Have a very good work.
Thank you for your good work. Yes, you're doing a good thing. Just
so we have another call on the line. Let's hope it connects. Yeah. Hello. Oh, unfortunately, it's kind of like didn't connect straight to the program. Let's see this. Is this one connected? Hello?
Hello?
Oh, what a shit. Okay. Can you hear me?
General.
Sir.
Yes, I can hear you.
Is this Prince Adewale, the African Wahala? Is that you?
Yes, sir. It's me.
It's you. How are you doing tonight, Baba?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for the great program.
God bless. Thanks so much for the support as well, Baba.
Yeah, I just wanted to contribute my own part, and I feel like the ultimate solution to Nigeria is a division. But before we get there, what are the realistic pathways towards getting there? There is really none, apart from a bloody revolution, like the previous speaker said. And I wouldn't even call that a revolution. I would just call that a bloody, jeopardy, chaotic situation, anarchy. So we either go through an ultimate anarchy and everybody is defending himself. There are different warlords with different weapons.
Are describing civil war here. Because you see,
yeah,
this is what is likely going to lead to, because we may not have revolution in Nigeria the same people are seeing it. I'm just thinking, a situation like this, the insecurity to start with, as well as the stealing of the resources and all that, I think that is likely going to then lead to people harming themselves, border to border, which in the long run, we are going to have a civil war on our hands. Revolution, African color. You think?
Unfortunately, I wish we wouldn't have to go through that path. And that's why the second option will be to still try to use their fake, corrupt electoral process. Now, the obedience showed that it's possible to make an impact through the electoral process. Yes, they did it. They showed us in 2023. And people like me, we appreciate them for showing us that. However, we should also be careful what we support. Because I don't understand the obedient movement personally. If the obedient movement, with their huge numbers in 2023, could do what they did, why didn't they just start a political party and build off of that? Why do they have to go and collaborate with PDP and APC? That's what I don't get.
And they've got 3 years to do that.
Because AGC, they've had a lot. It happened in 2023. This is 2027. 2026. This is enough time to have built a political party and fire again in 2027 or fire again in 2031. But for some reason, their superstar, Peter Obi, he chose to go and collaborate with PDP and APC members in a new political party called ADC. So where the problem is the supporters, many of them should have at that point drawn a line that if we are trying to escape from this mess of a country that is currently run by APC, why are we trying to collaborate with APC to rescue us from APC? That's what I don't understand. So my own ultimate solution is simple. We need to throw out all these politicians that have been in power since the beginning of the country. We need not give them any benefit of doubt any longer. No more benefit of doubt. As far as they have been in power at some point, you shouldn't be supporting them as a victim of Nigeria. It's better we, the oppressed, form our own political party if we have an ideology that makes sense and pursue that route. So that's my own suggestion.
Started from scratch, didn't join anybody. How did that momentum, that opportunity got lost between 2019 and 2023? Is something that I always kind of like beat myself to, like the level of the diaspora involvement, in that 2029 journey. Then all of that was supposed to be built on. Remember, in 2022, 2023, just got lost in the shovel. I remember it didn't just happen. No. You remember Amici and the guys he sponsored to take over the ANC, and how many years they had to drag. Remember? So it seemed like when Nigeria is, even if you go start up fresh, you still won't escape. The system has been built that way. And here we are.
But Mayegun, the AAC was successful in snatching their party back from the attempts of PDP. Yes. And I'm telling you, brother, if you look at what is going on, the AAC will slowly start gaining traction. That's what's going to happen next in the political evolution of Nigeria. A political party like the AAC will slowly start gaining traction and will eventually be one of the big players in Nigeria. As far as the situation continues this way, we don't end up in a civil war in the nearest future, a party like AAC will slowly gain traction. Because more and more people will realize that we can't continue making the same mistakes. We can't continue being emotional, following the same people, and then we expect a different result. And finally, part of the reasons why a lot of people need to check themselves personally. The reasons why we are quick to follow these people is because we have religious influence and cultural influence. Those two influences make people submit themselves. People willfully submit themselves for other people. They are always looking for saviors. Oh, come and save me.
Mentality.
And that is not the right approach. Yes, the herd mentality. And that's my contribution, my general. Thank you so much, Mayego.
And you too. Thank you very much for stopping by, Baba. Say me well to the girls. You have a good one, Baba.
Yes, sir.
So that's the African Wahala. Our time is up. And I hope that we can possibly continue this tomorrow, another time. So thank you so much for spending your evening with me, with all of us here. Hi, Rook. Enjoy the rest of the evening, sir, on your birthday. And everybody whose birthday is today, who's having their own birthday today, I may not actually be able to kind of like mention your names because I don't have it, but happy birthday to all of you. And those who are going to have their set tomorrow. So please like the broadcast. If you haven't, subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. And then share it too. So next time, we can continue from where we are stopping. So it's going to be a good night from here. Odaro.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Mayegun dayari politico. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Bí jíjó ìgbádìyẹ. Máyégún máa wí. Àníyàn sọ́ra yìí. Máyégún ti dé. Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Máyégún máa wí. Àníyàn sọ́ra yìí. Máyégún ti dé. Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Máyégún máa wí. Àníyàn sọ́ra yìí. Máyégún ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí bá. Máyégún máa wí. Àníyàn sọ́ra yìí. Máyégún ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Máyégún máa wí. Àníyàn sọ́ra yìí. Máyégún ti dé. Òkúra olóṣèlú. Máyégún máa wí. Àníyàn sọ́ra yìí. Máyégún ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Àníyàn sọ́ra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o, Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀, Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran. Kì máa yí ṣeré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣeré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o, ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran. Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́, ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o, ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.